Nearly 70 years since the Supreme Court ordered an end to racial segregation in America's schools. Tonight, we have an exclusive look at the new monument in Little Rock, Arkansas, to an often overlooked part of this story. It was there that 9 black teenagers led a fight for integration. And now they are shining a spotlight on the little-known federal judge who played a critical role. Our Devin Dwyer has the story.
We believe that the evidence will show beyond a reasonable doubt that
the trial is fake.
The defense will call 3 witnesses who
Part of the National Mock Trial Championship.
Objection, Your Honor. This calls for hearsay.
But the lessons for students and the country in this historic Little Rock courtroom are very real.
If you think about our city prior to 1957, totally segregated, that system of oppression was in full force, and then the courts intervened, and that turned the tide.
It was 3 years after the Supreme Court had ordered an end to racial segregation in schools, and Little Rock Central High was still not integrated.
How does it feel every time you come back here?
It's easier every time.
Elizabeth Eckford, who was 15 at the time, joined 8 other black students, the Little Rock 9, as volunteers to brave those schoolhouse steps.
Well, I was elated that we could go to school.
And then you made that attempt, but it wasn't that easy.
Well, the attempt was, no, it wasn't easy.
What's the story of this picture?
There's a group of people following me and taunting me and spouting hatred.
How did you keep such a stoic look? You look
I had on
determined.
Sunglasses because I have a sensitivity to sunlight.
Were you afraid in that moment?
Of course. They had threatened to hang me. Of course I was afraid.
After being turned away, Eckford turned to a little-known federal judge named Ronald Davies, a transplant from North Dakota, filling in at the local federal courthouse. Her lawyer from the NAACP, future Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. After making their case and despite a campaign of intimidation, Judge Davies wasted little time, ordering the state's segregationist governor to comply with the law.
There was no way that the governor of any state was going to interfere with the pronouncement of the Supreme Court of the United States. That was very simple. Basically, it really was. If he had been able to frighten me down there, do you know what would have happened to every other southern state? Raise a little ruckus and delay integration.
Judge Davies was a brave man, I think.
Art Phillips produced a documentary on Davies' life.
He did get all kinds of letters, hate mail, death threats, things like that. These were kids. And all they wanted to do was go to school. And so, with him upholding the law and their determination is just a beautiful part of our civil rights history.
Nearly 70 years later, Judge Davies is being celebrated as an unsung hero. His modest courtroom has been newly restored to what it would have looked like in his time, opened exclusively to ABC News cameras.
This is your first time back. And what a job they've done, huh?
Yeah. It doesn't look so foreboding as I would have imagined it.
It was here that Elizabeth Eckford and members of the Little Rock 9 testified to the world.
I remember being frightened all the time. I do. I'm just somebody who kept coming back to school, even if I was just a hollow person inside. Because the most that I could do was just keep coming.
And it's here where Judge Davies stood up for the rule of law.
What do you think would have happened if he had not issued that order?
Then there would have been many years of delay before desegregation attempts would start again.
And now through those same courthouse doors walk hundreds of high school students from across the country.
I hope it feels like 1957 to you.
Chief Judge D.P. Marshall telling them he hopes the space will be a tribute to equal justice for all.
The reason y'all are making history is this is the first proceeding of any kind that we have had here. My court's vision of this is that it will be a living memorial to the rule of law.
What is the rule of law?
Basically, it's whenever the citizens and the government have the law equally applied to them, so the government can't get away with shady things.
What do you take away from this?
Learning about the importance of the judicial system and the historical context of that as well.
A pivotal legacy from Little Rock now getting the spotlight, as Eckford says she hopes its lessons aren't lost.
Every voice in the community is important. Each of us was responsible for the kind of community we have. There's a lot of people who were silent think that that was virtuous, but being silent is a decision that allows bullies to do what they do.
And certainly a shared responsibility. Our thanks to Devin Dwyer for that.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.